So fine. Yeah, okay. So f of x equals 7e to the power of x divided by e to the power of x minus 2.
Good. So we know that this is a rational function combined with exponential. This is not a pure a rational function. Not pure. A pure rational function would be a polynomial over another polynomial. This is pure. Polynomial over polynomial. But this is not a polynomial, and this is not a polynomial. But still the same rules apply. E to the x minus 2 cannot equal 0. E to the x equals 2. How do I solve this equation? It's a log equation. I'm sorry. Of course, it's an exponential equation. So I have to apply log. That's what I meant to say. So I apply natural log. So then on this side I have x, and on this side I have 2. That's why they're asking you to use a graphing calculator, because we have to approximate natural log 2. So natural log 2 is 0.6931. How many decimal digits they want?
I just went back to check. It doesn't say, it just says estimating the asymptotes. Enter as a comma separated list. If it does not exist, enter D&E, but it doesn't say how to round.
Well, if it doesn't say, then we have to write natural log 2, like we did before. When it didn't like the 2.63, but it liked natural log of 14. So this is the vertical asymptote when the denominator is 0. Now for the horizontal asymptotes, remember, we have to determine what happens at the infinities. Since this is not a pure rational, we have to have 2 different limits and see what happens. They may be the same, but for the pure rational function, they are guaranteed to be the same. If a horizontal asymptote exists, it will be the same on both sides. But if it's not pure rational, it may or may not. So we have to be careful. So limit 7e to the x over e to the x minus 2 as x approaches infinity. Nice. Plug in infinity. It's infinity over infinity. L'Hopital's rule. It cannot be easier. Limit as x approaches infinity. The top is 7e to the x. The denominator is e to the x. Done. So at infinity, y equals 7 is the horizontal asymptote at infinity. Now we have to analyze what's happening at negative infinity. So limit as x approaches negative infinity from 7e to the x over e to the x minus 2. In this particular case, I recommend, so when we plug this in, this approaches 0, and this approaches 0. So 0 minus 2 is negative 2, and 0 over negative 2 is 0. So you don't have to simplify, you don't have to write anything. So y equals 0, horizontal asymptote at negative infinity. So please remember, it's a very good example, very good analysis. So every time we look at a pure rational function, meaning polynomial over polynomial, you do not have to determine both. If you get y equals 5, horizontal asymptote at infinity, it will be guaranteed at negative infinity as well. But this is not a pure rational. So in that case, we have to determine separately at infinity, the limit at infinity, and at negative infinity. So e to negative infinity is 0. E to negative infinity is 0. So 0 over negative 2 is 0. Very good problem. Any questions on this?
No, thank you.
Good. Next question. Next topic. What else do you need help with, or I will find questions? Anyone? Anyone, or do I come up with problems?
Unless somebody else has a question.
Is anyone else with us? Aaron, are you with us?
I'm here. Amanda, go ahead and ask another question. I'm
Yes.
going back to the beginning. See if Amanda
Yes,
go over.
anything you want. Yes. Okay. Have we found anything? Anything? This was a very good problem.
Okay, so I have something
Ready.
from 2.7. So find f prime of a,
Okay.
and f of x equals the square root of 2 minus 4x.
Good. With a definition. Good. So remember, we have two options for f prime of a. One option is the limit as h approaches 0 from f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h. The other option is limit as x approaches a from f of x minus f of a divided by x minus a. This is the general one for f prime, just replaced x by a. And this is another alternative. You choose. Or you choose the only definition, limit as h approaches 0 from f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. And then at the very end, you replace x by a. Notice that these two are identical. Instead of x, I have a. Instead of x, I have a. Everything else is the same. So you choose. So choose any of these. I have to
I
say that
remember I preferred one at the beginning, and I think it was your last option. by doing everything and then just switching x to a.
That's fine.
I think that's the one.
Yep. However, I just want to say that for some functions, this can be easier or maybe easier for some. So let's go with that. So f prime of x equals limit as age approaches 0 from f of x plus age. Careful how you plug in. It's 2 minus 4x minus 4h, and then minus the square root of 2 minus 4x divided by h. So if you have any difficulties with this, I will recommend write the function again. So then you can see that f of x plus h is the square root of 2 minus 4 parentheses x plus h. Because I don't want to write this twice, it's ugly as is. So I already distributed, but you have to distribute -4 to both terms. So you have it written like this. Yes, it's 0 over 0. You can use L'Hopital's rule, or what we always did in the past, rationalize. It's up to you. So I'm going to continue here, rationalizing. So the square root of 2 minus 4x minus 4h, but plus the square root of 2 minus 4x over absolutely the same thing. So again, a minus b times a plus b. Do not drop the limit operator. We have not applied it. We have not made use of it yet. So this times this will be 2 minus 4x minus 4h, but minus, be careful, put parentheses if you have any doubts, or you may forget to distribute. So it's h, the square root of 2 minus 4x minus 4h plus the square root of 2 minus 4x. Do not drop the limit operator. We have not applied it yet. Limit as h approaches 0. 2 minus 4x and minus 2 and plus 4x, they will go away. The numerator is only -4h. The denominator has an h, and the square root of 2 minus 4x minus 4h plus the square root of 2 minus 4x. Of course, that's the culprit. That's what creates 0 over 0. And now I will drop the limit operator because I will apply it. The top is -4. When h approaches 0, this goes away. An apple plus an apple is 2 apples. I will simplify and I get -2 over the square root of 2 minus 4x. And because I'm asked to find f prime of a, now I'll write -2 over the square root of 2 minus 4a. And then I will say, wait a minute, what if I have an error? Very simple. I have formulas. I will check my work with the formula. So the function was the square root of 2 minus 4x. F prime of x is 1 over 2 the square root of 2 minus 4x times the inner function prime, which is -4. I simplify and I get -2 over this. With a or x in it, it doesn't matter. So I checked in one line whether this was correct, because it's very easy to make a mistake with the definition. Very easy. But I have the rules. I will always check. I will check my work with the rules, differentiation rules.